One of my followers asked me why I talk about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints so much, or also known as the Mormon cult. And the reason I talk about it so much is because I am recovering from my 37 years as a member of that cult. And people don't understand, it's like, why do you have such a big problem with this church? But it's not a church, it's a cult. And I remember, for example, the first time I went to the temple, they only let members who they believe are worthy to enter the temple. And when I went, it was the scariest experience that I've ever had, because everyone's wearing weird clothes, and also you have to do a lot of signs and handshakes and rituals, and they believe that these signs and symbols are required to get into heaven, so I needed to remember them. And so it was a really weird experience, But later on, I learned what it is that I was actually promising in those rituals. And I'm a spiritual person, and I believe rituals have power, and our words have power. I'm very aware of the energetic systems and energies that surround us. So it was even more disturbing to me to discover what it is that I was promising.
The second Mormon prophet, Brigham Young, taught that your endowment is to enable you to walk back to the presence of the Father, passing the angels who stand as sentinels, being enabled to give them the key words, the signs and tokens, pertaining to the holy priesthood, and gain your eternal exaltation in spite of earth and hell. And part of doing that is to give those angels those secret handshakes. But the thing that really shocked me when I learned about it is not the handshakes, but the hand symbols or penalties that used to be involved in the temple. Back in the day, during the ceremony, the members would hold up their hand with the thumb extended and slide it across their throat, repeating the words, "Should I reveal any of the secrets, I agree that my throat be cut from ear to ear, and my tongue torn out by its roots." So the hand with the thumb extended represented the knife, and the members played out what it was like to unalive themselves during the ceremony. Of course, they don't tell you this, you just find out later as you study church history. The next symbol or penalty pertains to the heart. The promise is that if they reveal the secrets, they would suffer their breasts to be torn open, our hearts and vitals torn out, and given to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. The modern symbolism is that the members hold their right hand in cupping shape, with their left arm being brought to the square, with their fingers close together and the thumb extended. Again, the hand with the thumb extended represents the knife, and the other hand represents them holding their hearts. The final penalty is that the members place their right hand palm down with the thumb extended, and then the left hand is brought into cupping shape. And the promise is that they would suffer their body to be cut asunder and all your bowels gush out. Again, the hand with the thumb extended represents the knife, and the cupping hand represents them holding their bowels. All of this sounds pretty gruesome, and in many ways it is. It felt deceptive going through the temple without being told what these hand gestures actually meant. One thing that I'm recognizing is this is part of the culture that Joseph Smith was brought up in, as these roots come directly from Freemasonry. And studying U.S. history for my master's program, you can see how widespread Freemasonry really was.
I'm like, what the hell? It just totally flipped my whole world upside down. And I'm making promises to do things that are actually really gruesome and harmful. And I'm giving my soul to the church. And so, because you promise that you will give them everything. And so when I pulled away from it and when I protected my children from it, I'm doing that with great purpose. And another confirmation that this church is a cult is the way their members act when people leave. They shun them, they treat them different, and it's because they're very afraid. And a cult leader will teach their members to do that, to not listen to them. They've said this over the pulpit, actually, to not listen to those who leave so they can control them. And they make those who leave look bad, evil, taken over by Satan, not speaking truth, but Satan is controlling them to make their members in fear and under their control and power. And when I say that this cult can take over your life, I mean your mind, your heart, like your purpose, what you're here to do. You will, if you stay in that as long as I did, you will not know who the hell you are. Not even like what your opinions are. Everything, you delete all that you are to belong to them. Everything that you are to belong to them. And that is what makes you worthy. And anyways, so when I left with great purpose. This isn't just a church where we get together and talk about Jesus and choose good things. This is a cult, and that's why I feel so passionately about helping other people rise above this, because it is, talk about the Truman Show. When you leave that situation, when you realize that you have been in the Truman Show your whole life and everything that you were taught is a lie, and everything you built your life around, your identity around, is not even real and it's a lie, it is one of the most traumatic, because you don't even know yourself. All you know is the church, because you had to delete yourself to belong to it. So figuring out who the hell you are on the other side of that, and processing the damage of being a part of it, and feeling betrayed by the leaders who have lied to your whole life. It is the most traumatic thing you can go through. And so that's why I talk about it all the time. And that's also why I do my best to bring awareness to it, so I can help liberate members when they're ready to hear the truth, but also so I can help those who have been through this traumatic experience recover and discover that they have been amazing and worthy and beautiful and good and loved by the divine the whole time.